Hello and welcome to another What Sold on eBay video. This is going to be the postcard edition. We're going to go over some of the top postcards sold last month in our postcard shop and haven't been really listing a lot of postcards lately. Early in the year, I was listing about 15 a day, and that was really helping a lot. And for my 2021 goal, I'm going to do it where we're going to do possibly 20 postcards a day, and that really adds up. So if you have a bunch of postcards and you're thinking about doing that, it's definitely a volume game. Because usually the average postcards are going to go from anywhere between $3 and $8, and of course there are postcards worth a lot more than that, but the average sale is going to be between, like I said, $3 and $8. So you make a lot of your profits on margin, and of course buying supplies and all that kind of stuff in bulk definitely helps. And so, yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. If you're actually into this kind of stuff and you want to learn more about how to earn more on eBay, definitely go down there, click the subscribe button. If you're into the postcard stuff, definitely go down there and click the like button. That lets me know that you like this kind of content for sure. So let's get into it. Up first, we have this. This is a vintage postcard from 1910. This is anthropomorphic, which means like basically like animals and inanimate objects posting as humans. And so, yeah, that's a pretty crazy word. I bet you'd score pretty good on Scrabble if you were able to put that crazy word down. Anyways, from 1910, you might say, well, how do you know that the year? Well, obviously, it's stamped. This is actually a pretty nice, stamp here. Really nice cancel, and so really clean. You can tell exactly that it came from Ohio, 1910. All that stuff's relevant in the keywords, especially like whatever it is with cats, especially anthropomorphic cats, they sell very well. Another pro tip is if you ever see these old postcards with this red writing in the corners, and those that have been in the postcard business know exactly what I'm talking about. Those sell actually pretty well than a lot of other stuff that are non real photo postcards. So definitely keep an eye out for those. And real quick, I mean, here's the thing too. Like, most of the stamps aren't going to be worth much. There are some rare stamps every once in a while on these things, but they're few and far between. But the main thing is always kind of look at the addresses and the signatures, because sometimes there's some famous people, sports celebrities, and things like that that actually write postcards, and sometimes those slip through people's collections, and that can make a difference between a postcard that's worth $3 and a postcard that's worth $300. So luckily, for me, I haven't actually came across any crazy signatures, though I have found a couple postcards that were signed by actors on the front. So that's just one of the things to kind of look out for. Anyways, this sold on one of our 50% off sales for $12.99. One of the things I do is I kind of price a little high, and then I can easily just do the sales without like kind of stressing out. Like, I could do a bulk sale for 50% off my whole entire store and know that, I'm not going to be like losing money on anything that sells, even if it sells for like $1.50, because all the prices and everything are all worked out like that. Anyways, definitely look out for anthropomorphic. I think I'm saying that right. That's one crazy word, by the way. Next up, we have this real photo postcard. This is an AZO back, which that means that this box back here is an AZO, and there's different types of AZO. This one happens to be the 4-box corner one. That can actually tell you what year this is from, and I can actually probably lock down the year, but did I do the research on that? No, I didn't. Anyways, this is the Donner Pass, California real photo postcard, a bridge. Bridge postcards do very well for some odd reason. I'm not sure if there's like collectors that just collect bridges. What's actually pretty interesting about postcards is you get a variety of collectors that collect all different types of things. So I think that's one of the really cool things about postcard selling is, there's so many different subjects that people collect, and you might not think like, of course, this view looks, it looks pretty decent, but it's got a bridge. It actually has some cars. I don't even think I seen the cars. No, I didn't put cars in the title. But anyways, there's little cars over there. Little cars. They just look little because they're so far away. Anyways, this is a pretty good condition card. And usually condition doesn't actually matter with postcards, and that's actually another good thing that I really like about postcards is even like like old baseball cards, everything's about condition, but postcards you can have like literally a rip in it and a missing a corner, and you'd still get pretty good money for the the type of subject that's on this particular postcard. Anyways, bridges, they do very well, so just kind of look each one of them up. Next up, speaking of another good subject that sells very well, is aviation, aircraft stuff, 747s and all that kind of stuff, Douglas's, prop planes. Not all of them are going to sell very well, like for a good amount of money, but it is a subject that um, sells through pretty well. So we took a best offer. Actually, this was on sale for 7.99. We bought a whole collection of these. That there was like tons of like multiples of brand new, different ones, and this was like one of them that was unused. This happens to be an Australian airline company, as you can see here, Electra. And like I said, some of these things sell very well. So keep an eye out for aviation, anything aviation, uh, airplanes, military stuff, airport terminals, and different things like that. Next up, here's another example of another aircraft, aviation. This one is a Lockheed. I try to put the model of the actual plane in the title if you can, because there are some collectors that will collect only a certain um, kind of, I don't know what they would call them, like the certain type of actual plane. Like this is a Lockheed L118A. And so, there's some collectors that collect, they just collect, this particular airline or this particular brand of airplane, like a Boeing or a Lockheed or a Douglas or something like that. So just definitely list these if you ever find them. They sell very well. Some of them are long tail items, but eventually all the airplane stuff usually sells that I list. Next up, this is actually a really cool one. This is a real photo postcard of an actress, Nina Barkis, I guess I would say. This is like risque Paris, and these are hand colored, as you can see here. It's a black and white, and I'm not sure exactly how that process actually works. I don't know if it's watercolor. They so basically they print out they don't print it out. They actually kind of produce it with chemicals and everything. Like it's not just a printer that you can just print this out, and then they take like I think they take like some watercolor or something like that to fill everything in. But anyways, this is a famous actress back in the day. This sold for 24.49 on a sale. Carte Postal, as you can see here. This is like a different. I'm not quite sure like what country this one comes from, but um, I'm assuming that it's France. Steaming Paris. So all those keywords are definitely in there. Next up, we have a first linen postcard of the day. This is a night scene from Pennsylvania. This is a Main Street view. Linen postcards, for the most part, don't do very well as far as like sell through rate. And I try to actually, when I first started, I was really into the linen postcards, but it's all about the subject with those. And so, you see a ton of those around. And so I don't get too excited anymore about linen postcards. But I will say that like street views like this do very well. Stuff like main streets and cars, especially whatever it is with night views. I guess they're kind of rare with a moon. Um, it's crazy how many different subjects there are going on here. There's collectors that just collect night scenes with a moon. So I mean, there's so many different things going on here. Anyways, this sold for 8.99, which is actually a really decent price for a linen postcard. And, especially if you buy these things for anywhere between 10 and 25 cents a piece, if you buy them in lots. This one is unused, as you can see here. I'm not sure if it was, if it was actually posted, if it would bring any more value, but, still a pretty good card. And like I said, linen is not, it doesn't, the sell through rate on linen's not too great right now. Next up, we have this Ellen Clapp saddle. This is actually signed, which means that it shows it in the bottom corner there. Her name. Anyways, she's a very famous artist that did postcards back in the day. Was it international? Yeah, so this International Art Public Co. If you see that little logo, it's usually Ellen Clapp saddle, even though like sometimes they're not signed, and you can actually tell like her different faces and stuff. So you can usually tell when it was her different cards that are hers that aren't signed. So just keep an eye out for that stuff. Anyways, this sold for 50% off sale at $8.99, and this was a pretty good sale. I probably picked this thing up for like 10 cents. Usually I buy collections I rarely ever buy single postcards. I usually just buy whole bulk collections, and then you find these nicer pieces in there, and then that's what you list. And so that's what I found. There was a whole bunch of Easter and angel stuff in one collection I purchased. Next up is this China. This is Shanghai farming. This sold for 2.99. This is like one of the examples that I'm talking about. Like at 5.99, I can do the 50% off sale and not worry about it. I mean, like maybe the stamp costs like 40 cents because I buy them in bulk, so they're cheaper than 50 cents. And then I buy like all the little shipping supplies in bulk. So, I probably made like $1.50 or more on a 2.99 sale. So even though 2.99 seems less or not that much, if you sell 1,000 of those in a year, that adds up. So like I said, it's all a volume game on this, and this came from a huge collection of Chinese postcards that were chrome, which means they're kind of newer. I wouldn't say this is probably from the late 70s or the early 80s. And yeah, tractor, that's like one, there's like a lot of things going on with this picture. It looks like, there's agriculture, farming, uh, rice paddies, I think this is, and, tractors. So there's a lot of stuff going on as far as subject matter. We did sell a bunch of these at 5.99 when I first listed them because, people bought up a lot of the different kind of vintagey views and buildings and things that are probably not there in China anymore. So China is still a good subject to list and to have and to collect. Next up is a Buckrow Beach. John, Popeye's Postcard, used to talk about Buckrow Beach all the time. So huge shout out to John. I miss him very much. I did talk to him like a couple months ago. He's enjoying retirement, having a good time, and he talked about Buckrow Beach a lot in the past. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have known about this particular kind of subject. That sells actually pretty well. I would say like it's not selling as well as it was when he was talking about him like maybe a year ago. But Buckrow Beach is just something to look out for. Just beachy town kind of things, Virginia, and, New Jersey. People bathing, like even though we're right now with the pandemic and everything going on, like could you imagine like this situation with just tons of people all packed like sardines? Uh, anyways, yeah, I definitely miss John. I wish he was still doing these videos. But anyways, this sold for 449, which is a pretty good price. Like a pretty much an average sale for like a beach kind of chrome type photo here. Next up, we have this Rio photo postcard of this Princess Alice. This is from Canada. This sold for 4.99. Usually, all my Rio photo postcards, I won't, I don't want to say I won't, but most of them are going to be 9.99 or more. Just so like if I ever do these 50% off sales, I'd be okay with selling them for like 4.99. When I first started, I used to think like real photo postcards were like, they were all worth a ton of money, but there's so many of them that you could still buy for like $2 or $3 on eBay if you look. And so if you're into kind of like sitting at home and you don't have any sourcing, you can actually source some postcards. Sometimes people post them and they don't know what they have. And like I said, subject matter is everything. The boat is the thing that's going for this particular view. As we can see here, the Princess Alice. This is actually a really nice picture of a boat, as you can see here, unposted. And like I said, it sold for $4.99, and I don't mind. I probably paid 10 cents, 25 cents for this. And so it's still pretty good profit, no matter how you slice it. Even if we sell postcards for $1.99, that's still profit. Next up, we have this Santa. Oh yeah, I forgot to. I posted a ton of Christmas postcards maybe a week ago, and that was like the best thing I did. I took like maybe a Saturday, and I went through all the postcards, pulled out all the Christmas stuff, and listed maybe 140 cards, and been selling them. So I mean, we've talked about this kind of stuff about getting ahead of the curve as far as holidays. So like if you have Halloween stuff, like post it, towards the end of the summer. If you got Christmas stuff, post it towards the end of fall, et cetera, et cetera. Especially like Easter's coming up. Easter will probably be like, Christmas is coming up also. But if you list now, you'll probably be missing the boat. But Easter's just around the corner and stuff like that. So just think about that kind of stuff in the future. And I don't know how you organize your particular cards, but It's usually good if you can just organize these when you get them, especially if you have I have an ingest bin. I have ingest bins, and usually the cards when I buy them, I just look through them and then put them right in the bin. And then eventually, actually, it's actually pretty crazy the way I do my whole postcard business. And maybe one day I'll talk about it. Um, my start to finish kind of thing. But anyways, I'm Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a comment below, say hello, and we'll see you next time. Take care.